how Pourn is ruining the traditional marriage and how women are destroying the marriage rate. In this video, I will demonstrate to you how entertainment, Pourn specifically, ruined family life and marriage. And at the end of the video, I will reveal to you how women are responsible for the low marriage rate numbers this day and age. So why are marriage rates the lowest they've ever been these days? Basically, it all boils down to distractions. We're talking anything and everything that has to do with entertainment. And a huge chunk of that entertainment factor is Pourn. I mean, think about it. Back in the 50s and 60s, there wasn't really jack to do but get married and raise a family. That's literally all there was to do back then. Your best bet of getting off was to bang your wife. So, of course you had to get married to do that back then. That was all there was to do. There was no dirty TV shows to distract us, to corrupt our brains, or anything like that. So back in the 50s, we were focused fully on the family and getting married. But today, there's just way too much going on these days. Pourn is now 100 billion, that's billion with a B, $100 billion industry in 2023. And not to mention all the dirty shows that Netflix drops every freaking month. You know, there's Showtime, there's smartphones, the internet. It's a crazy, sexually focused world out there. And they can sure distract a bunch of people from doing that thing called marriage. Remember that marriage? That thing people used to do back in the 50s and 60s, right? This graph was published by the government. The site ends in .gov, so you know it's freaking legit. If you look at this graph, you'll see that marriage has peaked in the 1940s. Well, back in the 1940s, there wasn't crap to do but go fight in the war, or raise a family, or get married. That was literally entertainment back then. I mean, there were no dirty magazines or anything like that, no TV shows, no internet. You know, so a dude's best bet for getting off, or getting his rocks off, was to bang his wife and get married, right? But if you take a look at marriage's lowest numbers, somewhere around here, around 2010 or so, I mean, that's about the time when smartphones came out. You know, smartphones with internet access. Smartphones you could take into the shower that were quote-unquote waterproof, if you get my drift. I don't think this is a coincidence right here, yeah? Oh yeah, take a look at this right here. See this little dip in marriage, this little thing on the graph? Around 1953 or so? Guess what got established that year? That's right, P-Boy. I mean, this was the first magazine to revolutionize the softer core Pourn industry. I mean, you think this little dip right here is a coincidence? I don't think so, buddy. Yeah, back to this little point on the chart right here. Look at this, 2010 marriage plummet. I love it. And this right here is all because of technology. Technology is distracting us from that marriage thing, and I freaking love it. And thank God for technology, because yeah, it's getting really good, huh? So check this out. This is a graph of Pourn availability right next to the national marriage rate by year. I mean, look at these charts right by each other. Take a look at the 1950s until today. The graphs almost mirror each other. One's going up and the other one's going down. I believe 100% that the Pourn graph is reflective of the marriage graph. This is totally cause and effect in my opinion. I mean, just think of the year 1800, way before photographs even existed. If you wanted to see a nudie pic of a chick, you needed a painting or something like that that's gonna cost you a buttload of money. I mean, it was just easier back then to marry and bang a wife for entertainment. I bet, marriage back then in 1800 was 3 times higher than it was in 1950. It's all about the distraction, folks. It's just amazing how even 40 years of technology can make a huge difference. I mean, back in the 80s, Pourn was a very hard thing to come by. I mean, it was around and stuff, but it was very lame compared to what we got today. I mean, back then they were crappy VHS tapes that were $60 a pop, or they were some lame magazine that totally sucked and we had to go through heck to get them. And it really wasn't a distraction to marriage and relationships back in the 80s. I mean, I don't know, Pourn back in the day was literally a stage men went through in their early 20s. Then they got bored of it, and they went on to marry and start a family. That's just what they did. But nowadays, in good old 2023, we are bombarded constantly every day by high quality, hot, easy to access porn with freaking unrealistic scenarios too. Like stepdads with stepdaughters, old men slaying young chicks, young dudes banging their old MILF stepmothers. I mean, these scenarios nowadays can really pollute a dude's brain, right? All of this right here is a huge distraction from marriage that can kind of corrupt a dude's brain. I mean, think about it. If a guy thinks that this is how society truly is today, with stepdaughters and young chicks like this, they might be a little reluctant to get married and start a family. I mean, think about it. If they think that most other dudes out there are banging 10s that are 25 years younger than them, their minds are gonna wander, and they can't focus on marriage or a relationship that they think they can bang way better than their potential wife. So, no dude wants to feel left out on this type of stuff. And porn is giving men a false sense of how relationships, society, and marriage truly is. So basically, if dudes think like this is how the world really is, like all the 40-year-olds are banging 22-year-olds, and a lot of dudes out there are banging their stepmothers and their stepsisters and all that crap, then they're not gonna be focused on marriage. They're gonna be, hey, let's ride the V carousel for a little bit. Let's just put off marriage for a good 10 years. And then 10 years comes and they just don't get married. So that's why the numbers are going down. It's a huge distraction that's going on. Yeah, this day and age. It is just so easy to get a hold of this stuff nowadays. I remember back in 1998, anything that was even remotely sexual was very difficult to get a hold of. Us back in the 90s had to go through crap just to see a mediocre pair of tees. I think the first VAG that I ever saw was on the playground. Some troublemaker swiped one of his dad's dirty magazines and he brought it to the playground, and all of us gathered around to behold the sight we're about to see. And when he opened the pages, we saw it, and it was like a surreal experience for us. And all of us that never saw a VAG before were like, whoa, what happened to her penis? That's what we said right there. You dudes nowadays have it so freaking easy. I swear, back in 2002, I had to go through crap to get a mediocre 1-minute porn video. First of all, I had to make sure my whole entire family was gone from the house for the whole weekend. Second of all, I had to fire up my computer. My slow compact that was huge, bulky, and loud, and it got hot. It was like one of these type of computers right here, you know? And then I had to download the video I wanted, and it literally took all freaking night. I had to deal with these little download things. Remember these back in the days? We'd start the download at like 9 p.m. at night, and if we were lucky, our pixelated video was fully downloaded by the time we woke up the next morning, if there wasn't any freaking error message like this, right? Then that next morning, we enjoyed our little treat. Once everything was in place and the house was clear, we went for it. So we were lucky if we got to nut to porn like once a week. That's it, one time a freaking week. Nowadays, it's all on your phone, it's all silent, it's all high definition, it's streaming, it's in high quality, and the phone is small, it's silent, it doesn't make any noise, and it can be taken into the shower. That's the whole key right there. Yeah, any day of the week you want, anytime you want some privacy, all you gotta do is quote-unquote go take a shower and take your phone in there with you, and boom, that's all you gotta do. I mean, no wonder why these 20-year-old dudes nowadays are so damn clean. I mean, they take 3 showers a freaking day, right? I mean, they gotta rinse it off, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, bro, check out this graph right here. These are countries with the highest marriage rates. We got Fiji, we got Egypt, the Bahamas, all in the freaking top spots. I mean, look at these places, they're flippin' beautiful. And I'm willing to bet you that these places have very little internet access. That's right. Does it look like this place right here you're gonna get a phone signal, or mobile data, or internet or smartphone access? I guarantee you it's gonna be really hard to find a porn video like way out here, right? I mean, this is why the marriage rates are so high over here. You can't get any porn. Even when you actually do get married against all the odds, and then you end up watching porn barely 2 years into the marriage, you will end up freaking divorcing. I mean, like, look at this graph right here. It's a 50% increase of divorce for dudes who start watching porn barely 2 years into the relationship, into the marriage. And it's a 75% increase for chicks. So Pourn is a huge reason why people get distracted from marriage. The proof is in the pudding. Boom! Right there, huh? Hey, I'm not the only person claiming that Pourn destroys marriages. Check all this crap out right here. It's pretty much common sense at this point. Everybody's saying it. I'm not the only one. Not only does Pourn ruin them, but it'll prevent them from even starting. Because we all know that Pourn results in like a divorce. But Pourn is a reason why marriages are not even getting started. And the Pourn we got nowadays is just flippin' amazing. I mean, it's so high definition that you can see a chick's butt cheek pores. Or you can see the goosebumps on her teat. I mean, that's freaking high definition. And the thing is, it's just getting better and better as time goes on. It's gonna be higher definition. And the more better and better Pourn gets, the more the marriage rate is gonna freaking plummet. So, dang, yeah. Okay, like, let's make a prediction here. Let's say that it's the year 2035. And let's say that holographic Pourn or Star Trek style holodeck simulation Pourn has hit the mainstream in the year 2035. Well, you're gonna see that chart for 2035 marriages freaking go into negative territory. They are gonna totally plummet. I mean, the graphic's gonna look a little something like this. It's gonna look like that, yeah. So mark my words, that's my prediction right there. And like I said before, as Pourn gets better, the marriage rate's gonna get lower and lower because, like I said, it's all a distraction. And you know you know whose fault it is this day and age? Ever since 2020 onward, it's women's fault. Females, women, chicks, it's their fault. They're the ones that are creating this stuff. They're the ones nowadays who's producing it, who's promoting it, who's doing everything. Like, I mean, back in the 80s, they were just the stars. You know, because men were handling most of, you know, all the crazy, complicated stuff. But nowadays, it's so easy. And, if you don't believe me, just look up something called OnlyFans. Yeah. And every site that's just like that. There's tons of them out there. I mean, they could even upload to Pornhub or whatever it is. And they're banking off of that crap. Because nowadays, they are the industry. They don't need men. So they're just destroying that thing that used to exist called marriage. Yeah. True stuff right there.